Welcome to the City Council's December 13th regular City Council meeting. This is a hybrid meeting with City Council, city staff, and members of the public participating in City Council chambers in accordance with public health guidelines for in-person meetings and participating remotely to promote social distancing in this federal, state, and local emergency. I would like to introduce City Council members and staff present. Vice Mayor Jen Willison, City Council Member Drew Combs, Ray Mueller, and Cecilia Taylor. Staff present include City Manager Justin Murphy, City Attorney Nira Doherty, and City Clerk Judy Herron. City Clerk Herron, would you please provide instructions to the City Council and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Thank you, Mayor Nash. And again, echoing a welcome to our December 13th City Council meeting. For members of the public who wish to provide comment, after the mayor calls for public comment on your item, for those participating virtually, we ask that you engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you are calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you can press *9. For anyone in person, we have speaker cards at that back table, which can be completed and returned to my desk. And that concludes my introductions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone for their patience in waiting for the meeting to get it started. And off we go. So agenda review. Agenda review provides advance notice to members of the public and city staff of any modifications to the agenda order and any requests from city council members under city council member reports. Does the city council wish to pull or modify any agenda item? City Council Member Taylor.
Mayor Lash, I would like to pull E4.
Thank you. Under public comment, the public may address the City Council on any subject not listed on the agenda. Each speaker may address the City Council once under public comment for a limit of 3 minutes. You are not required to provide your name or city of residence, but it is helpful. The City Council cannot act on items not listed on the agenda, and therefore the City Council cannot respond to non-agenda issues brought up under public comment other than to provide general information. I will call for public comment at the appropriate time for members of the public to address the City Council on any item under agenda sections, consent calendar, regular business, informational items. City Clerk Herron, please call for general public comment.
Thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to provide comment for an item not on tonight's agenda, for virtual participants, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you can press *9. For anyone in person, you can complete a speaker card at that back table and return to the clerk's desk. And our first speaker will be Ragda Karajar.
Hello, I am here on behalf of Congresswoman Jackie Speier. I've been informed that Ray will actually be here for one more meeting, but as you all know, the Congresswoman is retiring and we're going to be closing up shop next week. And so I wanted to present you with this congressional record that was read on the House floor this morning by the Congresswoman, and it lists almost your lifetime of accomplishments. As you can see, it's very long. And this will forever be in the congressional record. So anytime anyone looks you up, they'll be able to find this in our Library of Congress. Since it is so long, I think I'm just gonna read the first paragraph and the last to spare everyone tonight. Madam Speaker, I rise to recognize my friend and colleague, Ray Mueller, who served on the Menlo Park City Council for 10 years, 2 terms as mayor, as he's entering a new chapter in his public service career. Ray was just elected as the San Mateo County Supervisor for the 3rd District, where he will undoubtedly continue his outstanding and dedicated service to the community. Madam Speaker, I ask the members of the House of Representatives to rise with me to thank Ray Mueller for his exemplary service on the Menlo Park City Council and to wish him continued success and stamina for his upcoming service on the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors. His contributions will keep shaping our beautiful county and coast. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And this will be the final call for general public comment for items not on tonight's agenda. Seeing no further speakers, Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you. Consent calendar. Under the consent calendar, the city council may take action to approve routine business items in one motion unless a city council member, city staff member, or a member of the public requests that an item be discussed or continued to a later date. City Clerk Karen, please call for public comment on this consent calendar.
Thank you, Mayor Nash. Given that a consent calendar item E4 was pulled, would you like me to hold public comment on that item for when we get to it, or do you want to include it in the consent calendar, public comment?
Let's hold it till we get to it. Thank you.
Thank you. So for then, for any member of the public who wishes to provide comment on our consent calendar items, E1, City Council meeting minutes, E2, continuing the conducting of City Council and advisory body meetings in a hybrid form, and E3, a resolution declaring the results of the November 8th election. Please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. Participating in person, please complete a speaker card at the back table and bring up to the clerk's desk. This will be the final call for public comment on consent calendar items E1 through E3. Seeing no speakers, Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second on the table to approve the consent calendar items E1 through E3? Councilmember Mueller.
I'll go ahead and make the motion.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Willison.
I'll second.
Thank you. City Clerk Karen, could you please state the motion and call for the vote?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Nash. So I have a motion on the floor by City Council Member Mueller, a second by Vice Mayor Willison to approve the consent calendar except item E4. Any further City Council question or discussion? Seeing none, by roll call vote, City Council Member Combs,
Yes.
City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Willison,
Yes.
Mayor Nash,
Yes,
and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
thank you. We will now go to item number E4 and Councilmember Combs.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Nash. I am recused from this item because I'm employed at Facebook, which is the property owner for this item.
Thank you. So we will now discuss item E4, which is waive the second reading and adopt ordinances to rezone the project site for RMUB into OB to RMUBX and OBX to include the X conditional development overlay, amend the city zoning map, and approve the conditional development permit. And 2, adopt the development agreement for the proposed Willow Village Master Plan project located at 1350 to 1390 Willow Road, 925 to 1098 Hamilton Avenue, 1005 to 1275 Hamilton Court, 1399 and 1401 Willow Road, and 871 to 883 Hamilton Avenue. City Clerk Karen, could you please see if we have any public comment?
Thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on item E4 related to the Willow Village project, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. For any member of the public in person, please complete a speaker card on the back table and bring up to the clerk's desk. And our first speaker will be Michael Gometti. And Michael, I know you are a project applicant for this. Did you want to provide comment, or were you looking to be promoted?
Just to be promoted because I want to be available for questions.
Understood. Thank you. Okay, so this will be the final call for public comment on item E4. Seeing no hands, no cards. Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you. So we have continued this item, or not continued, but we are hearing this item separate on the consent calendar because there have been some more discussions ongoing about this item. I am looking to the city attorney or city manager to perhaps provide the latest update.
Madam Mayor, would you be inclined to take a 5-minute break so that we can, the city manager and I can confer?
Yes, thank you. So we will take a break at this time to 5 minutes to 6:36. Thank you.
So at this time, having our city council members back on our dais, I will ask the mayor to reconvene the meeting.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for your patience. This is a interesting process. So City Councilmember Taylor and I are the Willow Village Subcommittee, and we just agreed to minor changes to the phasing exhibit in the development agreement. And as the subcommittee, we had requested clarifications to document what we had previously understood regarding the certificate of occupancy for certain phases of the construction. And I will now turn over the meeting over to our city attorney to explain what we're seeing on the screen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the changes to the phasing plan in the development agreement that were before the council this evening are proposed for revisions in the manner that is shown on the screen right now. I will also read those changes into the record, and then Madam City Clerk, there was one other page of changes that I'm wondering if you can project on the screen as well for our public to have the opportunity to view. Thank you. So there are 3 sets of revisions to the phasing plans in the development agreement that the subcommittee has recommended. I'll read those changes into the record right now. The first change is on page 71 of the development agreement, and it changes the second column in the 5th row, the row entitled number 5, 4th office building. The second section of that is revised to read: issue temporary or final COO for RS2 and RS6 prior to any temporary COO for the 4th office building. Issue final COO for RS2 and RS6 prior to a final COO for the 4th office building, but no later than 120 days from the issuance of any temporary COO for RS2 and RS6. On the next page, page 72 of the development agreement, the second column in the row entitled number 6, 6th office building, the third section is revised to read: issue temporary or final COO for RS7 prior to any temporary COO for the 6th office building. Issue final COO for RS7 prior to a final COO for the 6th office building, but no later than 120 days from the issuance of any temporary COO for RS7. And then lastly, thank you, in Exhibit F to the development agreement, row 2, second column is revised to read: grocery store located in RS2, first residential building, issue temporary or final COO for grocery store tenant improvements prior to any temporary COO for the 6th office building, issue final COO for grocery store tenant improvements prior to a final COO for the 6th office building, but no later than 120 days from the issuance of a temporary COO for the grocery store tenant improvements.
Thank you. Is there anything else we need to do before we call for a vote?
If and when you call for a vote, the motion should be made if the council wants these changes, subject to the changes that I just read into the record.
Thank you. Is there any council discussion? Councilmember Mueller.
Is this still going to classify as a second reading?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. City Manager Murphy.
Madam Mayor, thank you. If we can just confirm with the applicant, I believe he was still on that, that they are in agreement with these changes.
We're in agreement. I'm sorry. We're in agreement with the clarifications. Thank you.
Very good. Do we have a motion on the table?
I'll make the motion, Madam Mayor, to approve the consent calendar item G4 with the subject changes. E4.
Thank you. I will second the motion? City Clerk Karen, would you please state the motion and call for the vote?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Nash. So I have a motion on the floor by City Council Member Taylor, a second by Mayor Nash, to waive the full reading of and adopt the following: an ordinance to rezone the project site from RMUB and OB to RMUBX and OBX to include the X conditional development combining district overlay, amend the zoning map to include the X overlay and modify the locations of the public right-of-ways, new street connections and paseos, and approve a conditional development permit to develop the proposed project through the master plan provisions outlined in the zoning ordinance, utilize the bonus level development allowances, increased height, density, and intensity in exchange for community amenities, establish allowed uses, development regulations, including design standard modification requests, and otherwise govern the development of the proposed project, and adopt an ordinance or also adoption of an ordinance, a development agreement between the city and the project applicant for vested rights in exchange for the community amenities, public benefits, and assurances on the timing and phasing of the proposed project, subject to the changes as read into the record. Any further city council question or discussion? Seeing none, by roll call vote, City Council Member Combs. My apologies, recused. City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Willison,
Yes.
Mayor Nash,
Yes,
and the motion passes with City Council Member Combs recused. Thank you.
thank you. I want to take this opportunity first to thank the tremendous efforts of staff. You saw some of it tonight, where they have been working so diligently to get us to this point. And it's just amazing to work with such an incredible team who has been so dedicated to getting this to, and also recognize the applicant who has spent many, many hours with all of us, both staff and council members and residents, getting us to this point. To my fellow council member Taylor, we've spent 2 years working on this, and it's been, I cannot imagine having done it without you. It's been quite a journey. We've learned a lot. And other council members, thank you so much. Would you like to say any words or no? We are moving on. All right. Regular business. Under regular business, the city council considers recommendations from city staff on policy matters or administrative actions that require city council approval. The first regular business item is F1, recognition of outgoing mayor. City Clerk Karen, please call for public comments on this item.
Thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, if any member of the public participating virtually would like to provide comment on item F1, recognition of outgoing mayor, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. For those of you in person wishing to comment, please complete a speaker card on that back table and return to the clerk desk. And our first speaker will be Kathleen Daly.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. Mayor Nash, thank you so much. A lot of what I want to say tonight really has been about watching you and actually all of you. Give me a second here. I'm here tonight to say thank you to everyone in this room who serves the city of Menlo Park, to those that are on staff, council, all of you. You do an incredible job, and congratulations to those that are reelected. Drew, I look forward to seeing you in the Willows. Ray, congratulations, you're serving the county. That'll be great. And I know for all of you, it takes a lot. But I'm up here tonight because I decided I wanted to say something to the 3 women on the dais tonight. And this last year has brought forward some pretty tough challenges for you guys. Some things that were said that made up my head spin, made others' heads spin. You have dealt with a lot of complex issues while managing your own personal lives, the lives of your family members, your children and loved ones, all while never getting paid, all by volunteering, stepping up and serving the entire city. It's not an easy task. When I decided I wanted to say something tonight, 3 words kept coming up: grace under pressure. The definition of those words is having the courage to show grace under pressure, meaning that no matter the circumstances, you can remain focused on the task at hand. It means you are not swayed into knee-jerk reactions, emotional outburst, or even anger. Grace under pressure, it's something that I admire the 3 of you for. And once again, thank you to the entire city. But Mayor Nash, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for your comment. This will be the final call for public comment on agenda item F1. Seeing no further speakers, Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you, and thank you for your public comment. I would like to introduce Vice Mayor Jen Willison.
Thank you, Mayor Nash. And what I would like to do now is invite you to the podium on the floor so we can do something you love, which is giving you a lot of attention and read you a proclamation. Okay. We're going to honor Menlo Park Mayor Betsy Nash. Whereas Mayor Nash was first elected to the City Council in 2018, selected as Vice Mayor for 2021, and served as Mayor in 2022. And whereas Mayor Nash worked tirelessly to further enhance the quality of life for all Menlo Park residents, prioritizing housing, safe streets, and climate action. And whereas Mayor Nash always engaged with residents and businesses to make decisions to find productive solutions based on facts and shared values. And whereas Mayor Nash worked to set a citywide goal to be carbon neutral by 2030, including organizing volunteers to educate the community on what actions they can take to address climate change, working to enhance electrification and electrical vehicle charging requirements for new buildings, facilitated acquiring $4.5 million from the state of California to fund transitioning existing buildings using natural gas to electric, with a focus on prioritizing equity, and continuously navigated the city to eliminate or reduce fossil fuels in its operations through electrical vehicle and equipment purchases, and advocating for a solar battery renewable microgrid at the Menlo Park Community Campus that will have electric pool heating and robust public electric vehicle charging opportunities, and can serve as a Red Cross emergency center. And whereas Mayor Nash has been a champion of climate resiliency and adaptation and has supported investments to protect the city's San Francisco Bay shoreline through participating in advocacy with federal elected officials and local partners. And whereas Mayor Nash showed commitment to safe streets by pursuing funds and projects to improve safety for all roadway users on El Camino Real, Middle Avenue, Ravenswood Avenue, Sharon Road, and to reduce speed limits in school zones across the city. And whereas Mayor Nash facilitated continued prioritization of the construction of the Menlo Park Community Campus, support of Willow Village after thoughtful negotiations, which we continue to see tonight, on the development agreement to ensure project benefits and amenities that met the community's needs, and ongoing work on the city's housing element. And whereas Mayor Nash continued to impact Menlo Park through serving on 2 climate action plan subcommittees, Connect Menlo Community Amenities Subcommittee, Economic Development Subcommittee, Facebook Willow Village Development Agreement Negotiation Subcommittee, the Menlo Park Community Campus Subcommittee, and supported the Environmental Quality Commission as the City Council liaison. And whereas Mayor Nash amplified her role on the City Council by serving on the Association of Bay Area Governments, League of California Cities Peninsula Division, Menlo Park Chamber of Commerce as a city liaison, San Mateo County Council of Cities, City Selection Committee, and the Peninsula Clean Energy Authority, further demonstrating her commitment to climate change and making streets and sidewalks functional, safe, and comfortable for all users. And whereas Mayor Nash demonstrated her commitment to Menlo Park by approaching each policy issue with insightful, independent analysis, making herself available to residents and focusing on the best outcome for the Menlo Park community. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council recognizes and honors Betsy Nash for her dedication and service to the Menlo Park community. Congratulations to you.
So at this time, I'd like to invite our full city council down to the floor to take a couple of photos.
So while I have the floor, while that proclamation said a lot about our colleague and friend, Mayor Betsy Nash, I just want to personally say what an honor it's been to watch you lead our city this past year, and thank you for your service. So I'll open up the floor if any of my colleagues have any comments to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's funny, you come out of pandemic and you think, oh, well, what's the mayor gonna have to deal with now? And you had so much to deal with this year. Yeah, first you had to hire a new city manager and you led us through that. And then you had the housing element, which is like every time you go through a housing element, it's huge. Then you had Willow Village on top of it. Like you had all of these things and then just, to put a cherry on top, you had a measure with the city divided. And you just navigated through all of that beautifully, Betsy. So you had a wonderful year as mayor. So home run. Thank you.
So I wanted to say a few words looking back as a year as mayor. And I note that everything we accomplished was only possible with the collaboration of council colleagues, city staff at all levels, commissioners, and Menlo Park residents and businesses. This year was marked by transitions, challenges, and accomplishments. We hired city staff veteran and Menlo Park resident, Justin Murphy, as city manager. Justin is successfully navigating the difficulties of recruiting and retaining staff while dealing with an election, urgent city priorities, and all the day-to-day business of running our city after 2 COVID years. We completed the independent redrawing of our council districts, followed by the 2022 election with 3 council seats and Measure V up for a vote. Downtown saw the beginning of a post-COVID renaissance with the Guild Theater opening to popular acclaim, new restaurants opened, the design district organized, and 2 large mixed-use developments on El Camino, Springline, and Middle Plaza are beginning to open, and the business community citywide is returning to some sense of normalcy. We advanced our climate action plan through a new relationship with Block Power to voluntarily electrify both residential and non-residential buildings in Menlo Park and state funding to electrify homes of our most vulnerable residents. And we are greening our city's operations. The housing element is progressing with its environmental review. And last night, its safety and environmental justice components were released for review. And we moved forward our long-running efforts to deal with Caltrain issues, such as the quiet zones, the hugely important need to plan grade separations, and the pedestrian bike rail undercrossing at Middle Plaza. And with that, the community campus, the Menlo Park Community Campus in the Bayfront area project is rising up, and that's becoming real. And it's been a busy year for development. And tonight we actually approved Willow Village, a project master plan that includes a full-service grocery store, retail, and affordable housing in the Bayfront community. And generally, life is returning to normal with holiday community events and recreation activities, including the city's very popular gymnastics program. So all in all, it's been a big year, thanks to the huge efforts from so many people. I could not be prouder to have been part of this wonderful opportunity, and I look forward to a productive 2023. Thanks for allowing me to serve in this capacity, and I wish every success to our next mayor. Lastly, a shout out to my wonderful supportive family and friends. Many thanks to you all. Thank you. Thank you. The next regular business item is in the swearing in of new city council members. City Clerk Heron, please call for public comments on this item.
Thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to provide comment on F2, swearing in of new city council members, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. For anybody participating in person, please complete a speaker card in the back of the room and return to the clerk's desk. This will be the final call for public comment on agenda item F2. Seeing no speakers, Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you. City Clerk Heron, can you please administer the oaths to city council members Combs, Nash, and Taylor?
Yes, thank you. So if the 3 city council members can join me on the floor. All right, I'm going to ask that you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Again. Congratulations.
So we are now open for city council comment. All right. Oh, Councilmember Combs.
Sure, I'll be brief. I'd just like to, as I often say, this is like the coolest thing someone has ever asked me to do. And so I, again, want to express my gratitude to the residents of District 2 for asking me to do this again for the, I think, 2,000 or so voters who selected me. I know you didn't have any other option, but I still appreciate the vote of confidence. I'll just add, when somewhere around 4 years ago, we started on this journey, I could not have imagined that a global pandemic would lay in our future. And so for me, it's doubly humbling to be able to hopefully be there to see the city and our community even more reopen and return to some normalcy. So again, thank you, and I look forward to serving with all of you for the next 4 years.
Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you. And I want to thank, first of all, my family. My husband is here tonight, and also my nephew Lazarus. Without my family, my third run for office, and I ran unopposed as well, was quite the easiest one, but also challenging as well. I believe in democracy, and I believe that community needs to have an option. And I'm glad that I was the only option for my community because it said a lot to me. I am honored to have served our community in policy for the past 4 years, and I appreciate the continued support, in which is why I have committed to another 4 years. And we have so much more work to do together. As we move forward together, I'm looking ahead to the many gems we have to celebrate in the coming year. The adoption of a new housing element with an overlay of environmental justice and an updated safety element, the adoption of a new community amenities list, and the usage of our in lieu fee fund, and also the opening of our new community center. I know that there are still many concerns that my residents have brought to me that have not been addressed. I am looking forward to actually working with you to continue to figure out ways to address them. I still have concerns as well, especially when it comes to flooding and sea level rise, and also improving the aesthetics of our community, especially in and around the Bellhaven neighborhood, so that we look like the rest of the city of Menlo Park. I look forward to serving with our council. It is my honor and pleasure that our council is not changing that much, and I get to continue to serve with Drew Combs, Betsy Nash, and Jen Willison. And Ray, you may not be on the dais here, but you are still on the dais. So I look forward to working with you as well. I am grateful for the opportunity to have a police chief that I've built a relationship with, along with new and old commanders, our new city manager, our new city attorney. I still say new, even though it's been almost 2 years. But most importantly, the residents of Menlo Park. I was elected to District 1, but I served the entire city. And I'm grateful that I do get contacted from people that live all throughout. So I continue to appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just say, I'm really honored and pleased to be reelected by the District 4 residents. And I'm looking forward to serving with all of you on this council again. I am very pleased that we are all together again and wish you well. And I know that we'll continue to see you around. So thank you. And now what everyone's been waiting for, the next regular business item is selection of the 2023 mayor and vice mayor. City Clerk Karen, could you please call for public comments on this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on regular business item F3, selection of mayor and vice mayor, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen, If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. For those of you participating in person, please complete a speaker card in the back table and return it to the clerk's desk. And this will be the final call for public comment on agenda item F3. Seeing no speakers, Mayor Nash, you may continue.
Thank you. City Clerk Karen, can you now please take nominations for the city council for the selection of mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Nash. So at this time, I'm happy to take any verbal nominations from our city council for the selection of the 2023 mayor.
Councilmember Mueller.
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and nominate Councilmember Jen Wilson to become mayor.
Thank you. Do I have any other nominations or a second for city or Vice Mayor Willison?
Councilmember Taylor.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further nominations? Seeing none, the motion on the floor by City Council Member Mueller, a second by City Council Member Taylor, is to appoint Jen Willison as mayor of 2023 or for 2023. Any further city council question or discussion? Seeing none, by a roll call vote, City Council Member Combs,
Yes.
City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Willison,
Yes.
Mayor Nash,
Yes.
and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to Mayor Willison.
Thank you. City Clerk Heron, I'm following the script now. Can you please take nominations from the City Council for the selection of Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Willison. So at this time, I'm going to take any verbal nominations for the Vice Mayor for 2023.
Councilmember Nash.
Thank you. I nominate Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you. Do I have a second for Councilmember Taylor or another nomination?
Councilmember Mueller.
Mayor Wilson, I'll second the nomination.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Clerk Heron, do your thing.
Will do. Any further nominations? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is by City Council Member Nash and a second by City Council Member Mueller to appoint City Council Member Taylor as Vice Mayor. Any further City Council question or discussion? Seeing none, by roll call vote, City Council Member Combs,
Yes.
City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Nash,
Yes.
City Council Member Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Willison,
Yes.
and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, before we move on to the next item, I would actually like to say a few words. So 3 years ago in December 2019, Councilmember Taylor became mayor. I wasn't on council at the time, but I was there. And I recently rewatched the video and it was pretty business as usual. Not a care in the world, no idea that COVID was coming. And then on March 10th, 2020, there was a city council meeting in which the then city manager, Jerome Robinson, reported out that there would be a special meeting the next day about COVID-19. From that meeting, there was a meeting on March 11th, 16th, 19th, 20th, 24th, 26th, and 27th. 7 meetings in March after that. And meetings continued at that pace. Mayor Taylor led us through the worst of COVID with grace and dignity. There were constant meetings. I didn't count them all, but they were a lot. And you were an incredible leader. Then in December 2020, Councilmember Combs accepted his mayoral position from his bedroom. And he commented at the time that he was looking forward to the year being a year of recovery. And he worked tirelessly to try to make that happen, always keeping residents top of mind. Sadly, the year continued to be quite a challenge, no fault of his own. And towards the end of that year, Omicron came around, and that's how his term ended. And then in December 2021, a year ago, Councilmember Nash had her reorganization meeting, and she was wearing a mask again during Omicron. And she talked about the year ahead, 2022 being one of lots of challenges, yet one that could be very exciting. And she laid out all the projects and work ahead of all of us, which she now went full circle and kind of told us what they were. And as you've all heard tonight, it was a very heavy, work-intensive year. And Mayor Nash led us in intense studying, questioning, and incredible work ethic that she led on behalf of our community. And all throughout the last 3 years, Councilmember Mueller and Supervisor-elect rolled up his sleeves along with these various mayors and helped lead during these trying times. And I just want to say, wow, the last few years have been really hard. And your mayorships, Taylor, Combs, and Nash, have been really hard. Likely nothing what you had hoped they would be or what you thought they would be. These years have been filled with uncertainty, anxiety, and angst. Our residents and businesses have had it rough, and our city and our council have reflected those struggles. But through it all, you did not shy away from the tough moments of the past few years. You plowed through head on and did the work. Your leadership, all of yours, has brought us through what I hope will be the worst of times. While on the one hand, a shared exhaustion has settled in and economic unknowns lay ahead, there also seems to be a collective, at times hesitant and quiet, emergence out of the darkest days and into the light. Council chambers are filling again. It's so nice to see everyone here tonight. Kids are tumbling again at the gym, and the community feel of Menlo Park that we all treasure is feeling alive again. Dare I say that as we move towards 2023, I am cautiously optimistic that this year, 2023, will be the year we've all been working so hard towards. While I am grateful to be selected as mayor, and I truly am, and I look forward to representing our city when duty calls, this is a legislative body of equals. We all have one vote. We, the council, and the community we represent are bound by our collective decisions and actions, not mine. As mayor, I will carry forward the will of the council, serving with dignity and integrity as this job demands. As we on council know, but sometimes the public doesn't realize, the council's job is to essentially serve as a board of directors, to make key decisions and set policy. Like most smaller cities, we have a city manager council form of government versus a strong mayor form of government. In a strong mayor form of government, in addition to policy related tasks, the mayor also serves an administrative role, hiring and directing city staff members, setting the budget, and oftentimes having veto power over council decisions. This is not us. In our city manager council form of government, also known as a weak mayor form of government, it is the city manager who serves as the CEO, making key personnel decisions, overseeing department heads and employees, and figuring out how to get things done. This is all to say that the council relies almost completely on the city manager and city staff to be able to do anything. City staff provides research and expertise on agenda items to enable us to make our decisions and executes on council's policy direction. Without staff's commitment and professionalism, the council would only be guessing on things and talking into the void. So while I am reflecting on the incredible dedication of the council, all of you throughout the past few years, I also want to acknowledge and appreciate our hardworking staff. Some are here who are here tonight. All of those extra city council meetings over the years meant extra staff reports and extra hours and hours of time. There were also so many pivots and changing circumstances, new demands, and fewer hands on deck. And through it all, the city kept running and our residents were well served. Thank you, City Manager Murphy, City Attorney Doherty, and everyone at City Hall. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you in the new year. I also want to thank our city commissioners, some who are here this evening, for their advice and counsel. It's really all of you that help make our jobs so much easier. And to the residents, both those in District 3, from which I was elected, and those throughout the city, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve. As I stated during my campaign 2 years ago, I vow to continue to be accessible, seek broad community input, apply my values, and work hard to make Menlo Park a welcoming, diverse, and sustainable community for all. I'll keep at it, and I encourage you to reach out anytime to let me know what you think. And while my job is to serve the community, the strength to do this job comes from the love and support of my family, friends, and neighbors. About 10 years ago, I posted on Nextdoor, yes, Nextdoor, that I had recently moved to Menlo Park and that my daughter would soon be starting kindergarten at Laurel Elementary School. One mom replied to my post and we met up at Seminary Oaks Park. She's right here. Our two families have now essentially become family. I've met other dear friends in Menlo Park sitting in the back rows of council chambers, and I see you guys right now, waiting to speak on items related to sidewalks and bike lanes. And I've made other friends by spending time at Cafe Zoe, thanks Kathleen, drinking lots and lots of coffee. This is all to say that the people we serve in Menlo Park are not just constituents and residents, they are friends. And I hope I do you all proud. And to those friends and family that are not Menlo Park residents, but are here tonight or watching remotely to show their support, thank you. I think me becoming mayor might mean more to some of you than it means to me, but it brings me such joy to see how all of you are so proud. To my family that came in this weekend to celebrate my son's bar mitzvah and stayed for this, my parents, my step parents, my in-laws, my sister, my nephew, I feel the love. And to my kids, Naomi and Jonah, thank you for allowing me to go on and on about council. I know it can be boring, but I hope I've shown you, just like my mom, Emily, showed me, that civic responsibility matters. And to my dear husband, Gabe, thank you for my wonderful life and for putting up with me being at a million meetings in the evenings. I love you. So here's to a wonderful year ahead. Let's get to work. Vice Mayor Taylor, would you like to say anything? Okay, you already said great words. Thank you. The next regular business item is F4, provide direction to the city's voting delegate regarding regional vacancies for the next city selection committee meeting on December 16th, 2022. To introduce the item is City Clerk Judy, no, yes. City Clerk Herron, please advise.
Thank you, Mayor Willison. So the item before the city council tonight is to provide direction on the voting delegate for the next city selection committee meeting, which is scheduled for December 16th. Generally, it is the mayor who is the voting member for Menlo Park. However, it is at this time that the city council can appoint a delegate if the mayor is unable to attend. At this time, Mayor Willison, may I open it up to public comment?
Yes, City Clerk Herron, please call for public comment.
Yes, thank you. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on item F4, provide direction to the city's voting delegate regarding regional vacancies for the next city selection committee meeting, December 16th, 2022. Please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, please press *9. If participating in person, please complete a speaker card on the back table and return to the clerk's desk. And this will be the final call for public comment on regular business item F4. Seeing no speakers, Mayor Willison, you may continue.
Thank you, City Clerk Karen. I will now open up the floor for City Council question and discussion or for a motion. Councilmember Combs.
Thank you. I move that the city council authorizes the mayor to exercise her discretion in making the selections.
Do I have a second?
I'll be happy to second that.
Thank you. City Clerk Karen, please state the motion and call for the vote.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Willison. So I have a motion on the floor by City Council Member Combs, a second by City Council Member Nash to select Mayor Willison as the city's voting delegate regarding regional vacancies for the next city selection committee meeting of December 16th, 2022. Any further city council question or discussion? Seeing none, by roll call vote, City Council Member Combs,
Yes.
City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Nash,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Willison.
Yes.
And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Informational items are transmitted to the City Council in staff's effort to provide an update on matters of importance to the City Council. Informational items are not action items. However, a City Council member, city staff member, or a member of the public may request to make a comment or ask a question on any of the informational items. City Clerk Karen, do we have any public comments on the informational items?
Thank you, Mayor Willison. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on item G1, City Council agenda topics, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. Calling in from a landline or cell phone, press *9. If participating in person, please complete a speaker card on the back table and bring to the clerk's desk. And this will be the final call for public comment on info item G1. Seeing no speakers, Mayor Willison, you may continue.
Thank you. Are there any City Council questions on the informational items? Okay, moving on to the City Manager's report. City Manager Murphy, do you have any updates for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Willison. I do have one update. It was mentioned twice previously, but given its importance, I would just like to mention it a third time so that we are pleased to announce the release of the draft of the city's first environmental justice element and an update to the safety element of the general plan. The preparation of the environmental justice element comes after extensive community outreach with the city's partner, Climate Resilient Communities. These two documents can be found online at the web address menlopark.gov/housing element, as well as the two city libraries, the main library here at the Burgess campus and the Bellhaven branch library. So please stay tuned for more information about community meetings in the new year. So just wanted to make sure that people know that the documents are out and available for review.
Thank you, City Manager Murphy. Are there any council member reports since we last met? Any updates? Council Member Nash.
Thank you very much, Mayor Willison. So on Monday, I attended an advisory group meeting for the Searsville Stanford project. And there's upcoming an EIR for the project, and it's they have a very interesting website. If you Google the Searsville, it's searsville.stanford.edu. They have a very interesting website that gives the history of the Searsville Dam and what is happening with the project. And I highly recommend visiting it and taking a look. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Nash. Any other updates? Okay, then before adjourning, I would like to invite everyone to join us for a reception taking place at the main library in the senior annex. To find the main library, you can go out these doors and just walk around to the building that looks like a library. And hopefully it'll be obvious where to go. And with that, I adjourn the meeting.